What if the woman everyone trusted to protect a child was hiding a deadly secret, and only the maid saw the truth? The morning began quietly in Victor Stone's mansion, the sunlight streaming through the tall windows casting patterns on the marble floors. Aaliyah Thompson carried trays of breakfast, her movements calm but precise, her sharp eyes noticing every shadow and whispered conversation around the house. She sensed tension in the air, an unease that even the guests could not fully see. Victor Stone read his newspaper in the study, oblivious to the storm brewing under his own roof. Selena Cross, his fiancée, entered the kitchen with a smile that did not reach her eyes, her mind planning something cruel and calculating. Aaliyah, polishing the silverware, caught a glimpse of the look Selena gave Ethan earlier, a glance full of coldness and control, something that did not belong in the warm glow of morning. Fear gripped Aaliyah's heart quietly, but she did not let it show, her instincts warning her that something terrible was about to happen. By mid-morning, Victor excused himself for a meeting, leaving Ethan under the care of his fiancée, and as soon as the study door closed, Selena's mask dropped. She whispered harsh words to the young boy, her hands gripping him too tightly, her mind fixated on a plan no one could have imagined. Aaliyah, carrying a tray of tea into the hallway, noticed the fiancé guiding Ethan toward the garden, toward the secluded spot near the old shed, her words gentle but her eyes cold and calculating. Alarm bells rang in Aaliyah's mind, her intuition screaming that Ethan's life was in danger. She followed quietly, trying to remain unseen, her heart pounding, sweat beading at her forehead. Selena dug a hole in the ground with swift precision, the shovel hitting the soil as Ethan watched, confused and frightened. Aaliyah's breath caught as the fiancé whispered a lie about a game, getting the boy closer to the hole, and the terror in his eyes made her chest tighten. Without hesitation, Aaliyah sprang into action, grabbing Ethan's hand, pulling him away, but Selena's scream echoed through the garden, sharp and furious. The staff rushed in, confused by the sudden chaos, and Aaliyah, holding the trembling child, looked into his wide eyes and knew she had to protect him no matter what. Her mind raced with fear and strategy, knowing that one wrong move could cost Ethan his life, but she was determined to be the miracle no one expected. Little did everyone know, her courage would expose secrets that had been buried deep within the walls of the mansion, secrets that would shock Victor Stone and the world. As the guests whispered in the background, some confused, some judgmental, some afraid, Aaliyah silently vowed that justice and truth would triumph. The morning ended with tension thick in the air, the sun climbing higher, as if witnessing the unfolding drama, and Aaliyah knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Comment your thoughts below and subscribe to see how Aaliyah saves the day in the next chapter. Aaliyah Thompson held Ethan tightly in her arms, her heart racing and her mind working faster than it ever had before, knowing that every second counted and that Selena Cross's obsession was far from over, the young boy trembling in her grasp, asking questions in a small, fearful voice that made her chest ache. And she reassured him with calm firmness, promising he would be safe, while silently cursing the cruel fiancé who thought she could play God over a child's life. Her eyes darting toward the garden, where the disturbed soil still told the story of what could have been, while inside the mansion Victor Stone remained unaware, attending calls and meetings, blissfully ignorant of the danger his son had just faced, trusting his fiancée in ways that made Aaliyah's blood boil with quiet fury, and she knew that revealing the truth immediately could shatter the fragile peace of the household. But she also understood that delay could be deadly. And so she guided Ethan back to the kitchen, her mind calculating the safest path and scanning every corridor for the sharp gaze of Selena, who was now realizing her plan had been foiled. Her face twisted with anger as she watched Aaliyah's unwavering resolve, and though she tried to mask her fury with a smile, the staff sensed something was amiss, whispers beginning to circulate as they noticed Ethan's wide eyes and Aaliyah's tense composure. Yet none dared confront Selena directly. Knowing the power she wielded over Victor, whose ego and authority cast a long shadow across the mansion, and Aaliyah knew that only subtle strategy, patience, and her own courage could protect the boy until she could expose Selena's cruelty, her mind racing through possible outcomes, imagining confrontations, potential alliances, and the risks to herself if discovered too soon, while Ethan clung to her side, asking innocent questions about why his mother wasn't there to greet him. Why the garden felt different, and Aaliyah whispered reassuring words, keeping her own fear hidden, knowing she had to remain composed for both their sakes. And as the day progressed, the tension built with every step Selena took, the soft click of her heels a constant reminder of danger, while Aaliyah silently vowed that this house of wealth and privilege would not break her or Ethan, that the truth would come out no matter the threats, and she began quietly gathering evidence of Selena's obsession. Memorizing patterns, overheard words, and subtle gestures that would later serve as proof of the fiancé's malice, while Victor continued to remain blind to the darkness around him, and the guests, unaware of the life-threatening drama that had almost unfolded, admired the elegance and perfection of the mansion, never suspecting the horror hidden behind the polished walls, and Aaliyah's mind held one thought above all. She would save Ethan, expose the truth, and ensure that justice was served, no matter the cost, her resolve as unyielding as the sun shining through the mansion windows, illuminating the silent determination in her eyes and the courage she held in her heart, knowing that the coming confrontation with Selena Cross would be the defining moment where innocence and cunning, courage and cruelty would collide in a battle for the life of a child and the truth that had long been buried under wealth, power, and deception. And she promised herself that by the end of the day, justice would not only be revealed but celebrated, and the mansion would never forget the name of the maid who refused to stand silent. Comment your thoughts below and subscribe to see how Aaliyah exposes the fiancé's dark secret in the next chapter. Aaliyah Thompson moved cautiously through the grand halls of Victor Stone's mansion, Ethan's small hand in hers, feeling the weight of the secret they carried and the danger still lingering in every shadow. Knowing that Selena Cross's wrath had not been quelled, only delayed, her sharp intuition sensing the slightest shift in the air, the soft murmur of the staff, the clicking heels of the fiancé echoing like a countdown to disaster, and yet she refused to panic, forcing calm into her tone as Ethan asked questions about why the world seemed different today, why the garden smelled of fresh soil, why adults sometimes whispered behind closed doors, and she reassured him with gentle lies, keeping the truth buried while plotting the moment when justice would emerge, all the while observing Selena from the corner of her eye, noting the subtle twitch of her lips, the way her eyes narrowed as if calculating every move, and Aaliyah realized that exposing the woman would require more than words. It would require patience, clever manipulation, and the courage to stand against someone who believed herself untouchable, and so she began weaving a delicate web, engaging with the staff in quiet conversations, planting seeds of doubt about Selena's obsession with Ethan, subtly pointing out inconsistencies in the fiancé's stories while maintaining her role as the obedient maid, all the while ensuring Ethan remained safe, his small fingers intertwined with hers, trusting her entirely, unaware that a storm was brewing just beyond the polished walls. And as she walked past Victor, engrossed in a discussion about a new investment, she noted how blind his arrogance made him, how his eyes never left his own reflections of power while a child's life teetered on the edge. And Aaliyah vowed silently that she would shatter that illusion, that she would show him the truth and the depth of Selena's cruelty, and she began cataloging every action, every whisper, every suspicious smile, knowing that evidence was as vital as courage, while guests arrived for a dinner party later that evening, marveling at the luxurious setting, completely oblivious to the tensions simmering beneath the chandeliers. Their laughter and polite chatter clashing with the unspoken threat in the hallways, and Aaliyah moved through the crowd with grace, noting each reaction, the divided loyalties, the unspoken prejudices, and she sensed the moment of reckoning drawing near, a crescendo that would reveal both innocence and villainy, power and vulnerability, all culminating in the exposure of a truth that no one would dare ignore. And she felt a deep surge of determination, knowing that she, the quiet, underestimated maid, would be the one to protect the child, confront the fiancé, and finally unveil the secret that could destroy the carefully curated world of wealth, control, and deceit, ensuring that Ethan's life was saved, that justice was seen, and that the mansion would remember her name as the woman who refused to stay silent in the face of unimaginable danger, her heart steady, her mind sharp, and her courage unyielding, prepared to face Selena Cross in a battle of wits, morality, and survival that would shake everyone present and change the lives of all forever. Comment below your thoughts and subscribe to witness the shocking conclusion in Chapter 4, where Aaliyah confronts the fiancé and justice is revealed. Aaliyah Thompson's heart pounded as the evening descended into chaos, the grand mansion buzzing with oblivious guests while she guided Ethan quietly through hidden corridors, her mind racing with the knowledge of Selena Cross's dangerous obsession and her desperate plan to harm the innocent boy. and she remembered every detail of the fiancé's suspicious behavior, the cold calculation in her eyes, the way she had spoken to Victor as if he were blind to her dark intentions. And Aaliyah knew that time had run out for subtlety, that only swift action could save Ethan from a fate he did not understand, and she acted decisively, leading him to a safe room while recalling how Selena had laughed when no one else saw, a sound that chilled Aaliyah to the bone, and she formulated a plan to not only protect Ethan, but expose the truth to Victor, the man so consumed by wealth and power that he had failed to see the danger in his own household, and she gathered the staff, quietly instructing them to remain vigilant, to observe without being noticed, all while maintaining her role as the loyal maid, her calm demeanor hiding the storm of determination raging within. And when Selena came searching for Ethan, her beautiful face twisted with fury and desperation, Aaliyah confronted her with a courage that surprised even herself, speaking in a firm voice that carried authority beyond her position, questioning her motives and exposing the inconsistencies in her actions. And as the confrontation escalated, Victor entered, drawn by the tension in the air, his arrogance replaced by shock as he saw his fiancée cornered, his son safe and unharmed, and the staff and guests witnessing the unraveling truth, whispers spreading like wildfire, astonishment on every face, and Aaliyah calmly explained how she had discovered Selena's plan, how she had protected Ethan at all costs, revealing the meticulous attention she had paid to every suspicious act, every whispered threat, every hidden motive, and Victor, stunned by the courage and intelligence of the woman he had underestimated, finally realized the depth of her loyalty and the darkness of Selena's heart, his face pale with disbelief as the fiancé's sinister plan was fully exposed, and Selena, confronted with undeniable evidence and the moral outrage of everyone present, faltered, her control slipping as her malicious intentions were laid bare, and Ethan, clutching Aaliyah's hand, looked up with innocent trust. Unaware of the danger he had narrowly escaped, and Victor, moved by both relief and admiration, thanked Aaliyah with heartfelt sincerity, acknowledging the woman he had ignored for so long, while guests and staff, previously judgmental and silent, now witnessed a triumph of courage, loyalty, and justice, understanding that true strength often comes from those underestimated, from the quiet and observant, and the mansion, once filled with tension and fear, now echoed with relief and awe. Celebrating the heroic act of a maid who risked everything for a child's life, and in that moment, Aaliyah's intelligence, bravery, and unwavering morality shone brighter than any wealth or power in the room, leaving a lasting mark on everyone, a story of justice, courage, and the triumph of truth, ending with Victor pledging to value loyalty and character over appearances, and Ethan safe, the fiancé's malice exposed, Aaliyah's quiet strength finally recognized, the mansion forever changed. And every observer reminded that justice, courage, and integrity can come from the most unexpected places. Comment your thoughts below and subscribe to see more shocking stories like this. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with all our thrilling videos.